As part of what I'm hoping will be an occasional series on anime games which are not crap, this time I'm looking at Suzumiya Haruhi no Chourantou, or the Hyper Brawl of Haruhi Suzumiya. A doujin or fan-made project created for distribution at the Comiket 72 convention. The game is a bright and colourful little 3D fighter that models itself quite blatantly on the two Power Stone games for the Dreamcast. Such is the comparison that you could easily accuse the game of being a knockoff of Power Stone and spend the rest of the review banging on about it, but I promise I'll try not. For anyone not familiar with the source material, the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is best known as a quirky sci-fi comedy TV series that I'm not even going to attempt to summarise here, mostly as it would just spoil it for you. There's aliens and time travel and alternate realities and all sorts of nonsense that doesn't really have that much bearing on the game as far as I can tell. Anyway, the game has three main play modes. Arcade, which is a straightforward series of fights with points awarded based on your performance. Story, which takes you through the main plot of the game, and Free Play, which lets you practice on custom battles of your choice. I'm going to just opt for the Free Played mode now, as I can't read the Japanese and frankly I don't have a clue what the plot is about. Kyon discovers pimping ain't easy, I don't know. You may have noticed a blanked out option for network play on the menu there as well, but I'll come back to that later on. There's quite a decent selection of characters. 6 are initially playable, with Suzumiya as an unlockable extra. More or less all of the main characters from the series are here, and for the purposes of the game, everyone is armed with a comedy weapon of some sort, except for Asakura, who's brought an actual knife. It doesn't seem very fair considering the other weapons are things like a gym bag and a broomstick, but we'll not dwell on that. As you can see, the 3D models are nicely detailed and there's plenty of animation for each character. All the characters feel properly balanced as well. 7 might not be a particularly huge roster, but they've got a nice range of strengths and weaknesses without any one character having a massive advantage over the others. Getting into the game itself, I hadn't really been expecting anything much, but I was pleasantly surprised by how well it plays. Each bout is a straightforward one-round fight to the finish, with no time limit. You just have to attack the other team until they go down. One of the most impressive things about the game is you can actually have 6 characters involved in any one fight, which I think is 2 more than they managed in Power Stone. As with Power Stone, the characters all have a standard combo attack with their default weapon, a small range of special moves, and a super move, which you can only use when your little green power gauge rises above 50%. Unfortunately, ordinary specials also drain this gauge, so you'll have to choose your attacks wisely. Also carried over from a certain Capcom game are the character transformations. For reasons I'm not entirely sure of, picking up a ball of light will briefly transform your character into an amusingly attired, powered-up version of themselves, complete with stronger attacks and a new super move. There's also a small range of other items scattered about the arena, some of which will boost your stats, such as the teacup which fills your power meter, and others which can be used as a special weapon. Using these weapon pickups, however, isn't as easy as you might hope. All the weapons which can be picked up have a short delay between you pressing the attack button and the attack actually being made. Presumably to prevent any cheap item hogging strategies, this little pause leaves you highly vulnerable to counter-attack and forces you to time your swing very carefully. This does bring me on to one of the main complaints about the game though, the camera angle. Viewed from an overhead angle reminiscent of the 3D Mario games, the camera follows your character pretty closely and you can manually adjust it if you need to. Unfortunately though, the camera has a habit of sticking close to you when you don't really want it to. Trying to swing the camera to aim your attack when the AI is bearing down on you can get very frustrating. It could just be me making a mess of things, but I have quite often found myself swinging fruitlessly at thin air when trying to strike back at the computer. This certainly isn't a deal breaker by any means, but it is annoying and I do find it puts me off using the weapon pickups. Ironically enough, the game would probably have benefited from a wider angled overhead camera that would let you see the entire arena, like the one in Power Stone. Anyway, the game engine is as sound as they come. Everything works the way as it should, as far as I can tell, and the AI is first rate, being tough enough to make the game challenging without driving you to despair. Sadly, however, you're only ever going to be playing against the AI, as the game's multiplayer mode was never implemented. The blanked out option for network play on the main menu suggests it was clearly on the cards, but it seems to have been dropped, presumably due to time or technical constraints. And it's a real shame that there isn't a multiplayer option, as ultimately it's this lack of a chance to play against a human opponent that really kills the game's longevity. There's enough in the one player mode to keep you going for a good 2 or 3 hours, but with that one extra character being the sole unlockable feature, there's not much to keep you coming back after you finish the game. Ardent followers of the series will likely get a bit more out of the game simply because it recreates the characters and settings so faithfully, but inevitably the inherent comedy of being unexpectedly KO'd with a Mikiru beam will be lost on non-fans. And that's about it. As I said already, this is just a little fan-made game, and as you might expect, there isn't really an awful lot to it. The game isn't as interesting or as varied as Power Stone, but this doesn't stop the Hyper Brawl being a lot of fun to play while it lasts. If it were a commercial game, it wouldn't rate much of a glance for anyone except fans, but for a non-professional effort, Hyper Brawl is a superb technical achievement, and I can highly recommend it to anyone looking for a quick fix of 3D fighting. The final score is going to be 6 out of 10. As a final note, I'm not entirely sure what the legal status of this game actually is. It's certainly not available for sale or download from the Sucksoft website, but after the legal troubles regarding the game's sequel, which I might look at some other time, I'd hesitate to call this free or abandonware. Suffice to say, if you run a search on Google or the likes, you'll probably find it without too much trouble.